Okay, we're recording. Welcome to the Travel Agency New Year podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Kay. I'm a travel agency owner helping travel advisors, and I'm going to talk like this the whole episode. No, I'm not. I help you all become the CEO of your travel business through this podcast and a lot of other things. Podcast is free 99. Other things you can find over at elevatewithrachelk.com. Oh, I need to write down a note while I'm batch 203. Okay. Today's episode is expanding on the paid lead magnet / paid small offer, adding additional revenue streams based on your knowledge, even if it's not something you sell, but it's something you know a lot about with regards to the travel industry. Now, don't don't be like, I'm a travel agent and I love macrame. I mean, you could, but don't post that on your travel agency page. I mean, you could, but also don't be like, and now I have a course, because then your audience on your travel agency page is going to be like, you have a course for macrame? Do you even sell travel? Keep it kind of cohesive, okay? All right. So we're going to touch on creative borrowing versus straight up stealing. It does happen, and you can do the creative borrowing, just don't do the straight up copying. Okay? And this has happened, I'm talking about this today because it has been brought up. A phenomenal travel advisor I know has this amazing lead magnet and has worked so hard on it. And I think it was launched last year and then immediately pulled because when she was getting the email list, it was like 80% of them were like, Sarah Travels Magical Disney Travel at Gmail, or like Jane's Destination Honeymoons at Outlook. Like, she knew they were travel agents taking her lead magnets, and she was like, and at first I was like, calm down, imitation is the highest form of flattery. They clearly like what you're doing. They clearly like your message. They clearly do not have a creative bone in their body, so they gotta kind of pull stuff. And also, it's going to happen, but please don't do that if you're a travel advisor. If you see someone else's stuff, message them directly and be like, hey, I really like the idea of your lead magnet. They're not going to share it with you. Just give them a compliment, okay? Many travel advisors are not going to be like, oh, you like it? Well, you can use it. They may ask you to pay a price for it. Please don't steal stuff fully like that, okay? Anyway, that lead magnet has been pulled because such a huge number of travel advisors were signing up for it and I looked at it and I'm like, there's no wording here that like indicates this is for travel advisors. So they were advisors just stealing it to have something and probably edit it in Canva. I'm not happy about it. So this episode is very heavily influenced on that situation. I've had it happen to me with like my social media content, travel agencies just straight up stealing almost verbatim my copy, but switching out the name of the resort. And I'm just like, good job. Good job. Okay. Anyway, you've probably had this experience yourself. You see someone else's post, it looks a little too familiar. I even see emails now in my inbox. I'm like, I was talking about that a year ago. Like that's going to happen. But if it's like super familiar and you're like, wait a darn minute. There's a book, I think I've brought it up before, called Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. The core idea is totally worth understanding. You can go buy it and read it if you want. I highly recommend reading so you're not doing the doomy scrollies, which I do every day. It's fine. But I also read every day. But it actually cuts both ways in the conversation. Cleon's argument is that almost nothing is created in a total vacuum. Every creator is influenced by what came before them, remixing and building upon ideas they've absorbed. This is so common. This is why, every travel advisor is using one of maybe 5 travel CRMs, maybe 5, right? And I'm basing this off the US. Every travel advisor is working with one of 5 wholesalers or suppliers for the bulk of like their all-inclusive resort trips. Okay? Oh, my alarm's going off. We're just going to have to ride with that. Please ignore the dinging in the background. Every travel advisor is going to have their basic steps, but the thing that separates you, even if you are in the exact same niche as someone and you do very similar things, is who you are as an individual, because we're all created to be different. Okay? All right. Austin's point isn't copying is fine, because it's not. Straight up copying means you're not doing the work. It's that creativity is less about pure or inspiration and originality. Like, most people don't get divine inspiration to create things. Most people are combining their life experiences and the struggles they see and the pain points, and then they're like, oh, this needs to be made to solve this problem. My alarm's going to go off this whole episode. It's fine. All right. The specific combination, the added branding voice, which we talked about a long time ago in this podcast. Probably in the day 20s episodes, if you want to look back that far. And the personal twist, that's what makes something recognizably yours rather than a carbon copy of someone else's. That's an important distinction to hold on to, because it means not everyone who's inspired by your work is stealing from you. Someone seeing your content style and being motivated and inspired to start their own version in their own voice is normal and even a healthy part of how a creative industry works. That's different from someone taking your exact wording, your exact framework, your exact guide, and presenting it as their own with barely a word changed. Okay, so my alarm's just going to roll. It's happening. I hope you guys don't hear it, but I feel like this mic picks up everything. Hold on. I don't think it's coming in through the mic. So I probably just sound crazy today. You can go to other people's travel websites, for example, or any kind of website doing any kind of service-based marketing, and review their copy and be like, oh, I like this concept that they bring up. How can I put this in my own voice, right? But just copy and paste the entire thing, and no, don't do that. Okay. What I want to say very plainly, especially once you start sharing things publicly on social media with complete stranger dangers. Remember when we were little, and I know this gets brought up a lot, but we were like, don't talk to strangers, and now we're just like talking to complete strangers all the time. Anyway, not just your own client base, but also with strangers. Some other advisors will take what you've created and repurpose it as their own. It will happen, especially if you have like a nice solid formula and you're following like very good marketing strategies and copywriting strategies. They're not, hopefully, not going to do it word for word. Please don't do it word for word. Please do not do that. But they might be like, oh, I like this. I like how they have the layout. Okay, I'm just thinking of like a digital guide lead magnet off the top of my head. Like, I like the layout of how they instantly go in and tell a story of the problem the person is realizing they have as they're trying to plan X type of travel. And then they give 5 succinct, clear, concise tips. And then they give a bonus tip. Like, this is like general framework for lead magnet, by the way. Quote unquote bonus tip, work with a travel advisor, book a call with me, and then like a bonus page of like maybe a packing list or something, like something that's more value than what they originally signed up for. Anyway, it's going to happen. And it's not very, it feels icky. It feels uncomfortable. It doesn't ever stop being uncomfortable because you're like, that's my baby. And you kind of like get mama berry about it. Be like, that's my creation. What are you doing with it? But it becomes far less destabilizing once you expect it. rather than feeling like you're blindsided by it. So, yesterday's episode was all about knowledge-based services and how you can create an additional minor passive revenue stream. And it connects to today's topic. This alarm is still not going off. Just roll with it, everybody. Freely giving away your most detailed, very, very original frameworks to total strangers on social is the highest risk way to share your best work. Lead magnets should have a ton. Everything you give away for free should have a ton of value. Don't get me wrong. But it's fully public, easily screenshotted, easily repackaged by someone else with your name just quietly removed. So charging for your super duper duper detailed or original material changes that dynamic. It doesn't make copying impossible, but it does a few things that puts your best work behind a smaller, more invested audience rather than the entire World Wide Web. It creates a paper trail. There's a purchase, a sale, and that can matter if you do need to address someone lifting your content directly. And frankly, it filters out the people who are you're only getting people who actually value what you built enough to pay for it rather than people scanning content for something to screenshot. Okay. A few other steps you can do. You can watermark any kind of visual guides very clearly. You need to keep all your original files and you want to make sure that they're people can still copy some of that stuff. You want to keep all of your original files you've created, drafts that you've created, notes about it with timestamps in case you do need to establish that you created something first. If you don't have any of that, this is why I'm a psycho for notebooks. Reason 5 billion. I have everything noted and saved everywhere in my travel agency and in the Elevate with Rachel K. Everything. When some of the stuff that I created in Elevate, I came up with before Elevate existed, and I was in another business called TA Toolbox, by the way. And it was something that my partner at the time was like, I don't know if we should move forward. But since we were 50-50, we both had to agree on the decision. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to move this over to my new business. So, including this podcast, BT Dubs. Because I think the podcast was a lot back then anyway. All right. But you need to be able to have a thorough record that you actually created something first. Because you might get a letter from an attorney someday being like, I'm threatening to sue you. You need to cease and desist. But if you're like, bitch, I created this 2 years before this guy was even in business. No, I don't. You have nothing to worry about. Okay. And your most valuable frameworks, content that you use in your business, the ones that represent your real time and expertise, keep those in the paid products and in your services as a travel advisor. You can pull little tidbits for a free post, but you don't want to give it all away all at once. Tomorrow, we're going to do some mindset. Next couple days is going to be more mindset. Practical protections only go so far. How you personally handle watching someone else do what you do is honestly the bigger and longer term skill, because some people can't handle other people doing anything remotely similar to them, and that's not a good idea. Let's change that mindset. On day 205, today is day 204. I'm going to go make sure that alarm doesn't go off in this next episode. Have a good day.